All right. Yeah, guys. Good morning. It's about 13 minutes past 10 a.m. EST. Thank you very much for joining me. Yeah, this is Hey Kwame. Right. So, okay. Probably just share the link here. All right. So you're welcome to this Canva training session. This is going to be pretty much an interactive session. The goal is for it to be interactive, and I'm hoping that if anyone has questions, they can ask. But I have quite a number of people who plan to join, who plan to watch the video later. So the goal here is to really walk like for us to walk through so that later you can ask questions. I might not be available to ask questions. And also, this is going to be going on a training program that I'm organizing. It's going to be paid. Or, unfortunately, this is supposed to be a free session, but anything after that is going to be a paid session that I'm really putting together. I'm trying to put some of my course on Teachable, and the goal here that I want people to take out of this is uh, we want to democratize design, right? So no matter which industry you are, and I've mostly worked with real estate agents. I do do work for my church, and I do designs and all that, and quite a number of places. One thing that I know is some years back, it used to be very hard. Design was really limited to a few people, but with Canva and the fact that Canva is also online and the fact that Canva is also, uh, you know, cross-platform, right? The fact that it's online, meaning that you can use your browser to browse it, compared to platform like Photoshop and all that, you need to, have the software installed on your laptop. Even though Canva has their native software, for Windows and also iOS, they still are a fully browser-based program, right? They're fully a browser-based program. So I'm really excited for people who are inexperienced. I think one mistake people make is they just go on Canva and they just start copying things blindly, right? They look at what people have made, they just keep using templates. But with this class, I want us to be very, start from the basic, just answer a few questions about the platform and also just understand a few principles around design. So hopefully we can jump into it and you start. It's gonna be very hands-on. This is not a presentation, this is just an interactive class that you're just supposed to follow. Uh, Anything I'm doing, just open your software, try and open it up, then you can, really browse it with me. So I'll be sharing my screen here, and we can start from there. So I know quite a number of you are going to be watching from the YouTube page, so you can still, get interactive on there. So let me share my screen here. Oh, so I just realized my screen. If I share my screen, it means I'm going to be double sharing with the OBS. Okay, let me see. Okay, so what is going to happen is I'm probably going to post the YouTube link here. It's actually public, so you can just look at it. Let me just, Okay, so I think we have this thing here. Uh, so I think for convenience sake, I don't know, is this? Yeah, hello Kwame. Is it Kwame Bini or Kwame Boholo? Hello. Yeah, Kwame. Oh, okay. Yeah. I can you join on can you watch the YouTube video? You can watch the YouTube video, right? I was trying to share my screen, but I realized I'm gonna double share. But you know what? Let me just test it and see quickly before we just head over here. So I'm gonna, let me see. I have OBS here. So let me see. So what happened? Wow. So okay. All right. So okay, let's jump into this. So we're gonna go over here. So I'm going to sign out for my account and just for us to start. So Canva, like I've mentioned, is one of the most popular tools out there. You can sign up with your email address, your Facebook, and all that. So uh, let me see. Okay, so just give me a second. What happened? Email address, your Facebook, and all that. So let me see. What happened? Email address, your Facebook, and all that. So let me see. Yeah, this is already horrible. So Kwame, can you just watch the YouTube video so that I can just focus on recording it?
Okay, okay,
Then you can type in anything in the Zoom chat, right?
okay,
I think, yeah, so that I can focus on. I'll probably have to figure out next time a good way of dealing with something like this. I thought I had figured it out, but I realized, yeah. So let's watch the YouTube video. All right. Okay. Yeah. So I think we've already exhausted most of our time, so I'm going to go through this very fast. So typically, you can use your Google Gmail, Facebook account to sign up into at Canva. I've already done that, so it has stored my Gmail. Typically, you see the Gmail account just like you see most of the apps out there. So let's just jump in. And over here, as you can see, it's asking for my details. Then I'll continue. Then we jump in right away. So over here, you can see the main dashboard. Just a quick note, there's also, like I mentioned, there's also the Canva app. This is the app, the native app that you can use. So that is also one thing that I want you to note. So over here, you see the whole dashboard. Canva is a very, broad tool. Like they've made it to have an expansive amount of items that you can do. So over here you can see create design. It shows you all the templates that you can work with. If you want to create a Google Doc style, if you want to create a whiteboard where you want to note things down, you can use it. If you want to create an Instagram post, they give you the sizing. So for instance, let me click on this quickly, then it opens for you. So you see the square size for Instagram. So you can start with that. So whatever you want to do, you can just jump in and start doing stuff. Then over here, you can see all the details here. And look at this. I'm part of several accounts. I have an account for myself. I'm part of somebody's team. The thing about Canva is it's very collaborative. You can join and collaborate with other people. So for instance, if we have a team, we have an account for a church or a group of people, you can just join that team and work together on that same account. So that's what you can see over here. So we can start with that. And there's Magic Studio. We are in an AI world, right? So test to design. Whatever design that you have, this is where you start with. So just like you go to ChatGPT and you want to create a design, this is how Canva is also addressing that. You can use their chat feature, but this is a pro feature. So Canva has different plans. It is not free, but you can still use it for free. They have, the enterprise, the pro version, where they give you more features and also they give you more template to be able to work with. So let's go over here. And also, as you can see here, it shows you recent designs. When it comes to see recent designs, it's basically whatever you've worked on before. And here too, you get to see the folders. I like to organize my stuff. So for instance, we are doing a Canva training, so I have a folder for Canva training. And I'll show you an easy way to create your folder. That basically, you want to be extremely organized so that you don't lose some of your files, right? So we're going to jump in here. Let me see. All right. So we're going to pick an Instagram post and work on it from there. Okay. So when you're designing, you always want to have your grids. So, and I want to go over this. In design, we have element of design. The element of design are the basic component for creating a design. Over here in Canva, you can see the basic elements that we use to create design. So you have your circles, your square, right? So you click on it. They give you all these options. And you have all the rounded shapes over here. If you need an arrow, it will give you that. This is your basic elements that you are using to design. So you need to know those basic things. So this is an arrow. The arrow is made up of a line, right? So that is one of the elements of design. We have shapes, right? We have a line. We have a color, right? We have texture and all those things. So over here, Canva gives you all these options. If you want to create your own, you can just type it in here. That is part of their AI image generator over there, right? So for instance, if I have an element like this, and I want to create something, you can modify the element and you just pull it apart, right? So let's go from here. Let me just show you something. So here you can see the element here. And if we want to change the color, you click on this, right? You click on this to change the color. So maybe our color that we are interested in is this shape and purple, right? I also didn't mention that you also, your elements, you have typography too. So here you can see we have the typography option. We have a separate, tab for typography. And the good thing about Canva is it gives you options for, your headings, your subheadings and all that, so that you don't have to stress about it. So typically if you're designing, you have to scale your heading, higher. It has given you that option. So let's look at this. It's showing us the this thing, the subheading. So by just a mere chance of using this platform, you already have all the options. So again, another element of design is the font here that we'll be using, the typography, right? The typography is made up of several colors. So if we want to change this into this color, we come over here, and already the good thing is already, and that's what you need to know about colors. Colors is also part of the element of design. The good thing about Canva is whenever you use a color within your document, or even when you import a picture, right? And even when you import a picture, Canva will show you, it will just pull out the colors for you so that if you want to work with it, you can work with it. So here it has saved the document colors, meaning that whatever color you have on this artboard is going to save it for you, right? I will tell you this. One of the most important things I typically, when I'm designing anything, what the most important thing for me, I look at typography, right? I look at my typography and whatever images that I'm using. And we're going to go over all of those things, right? So this is just an example of how the element of design I work with. We're going to start designing something very quickly right away. But before that, I want to show you one thing that you need to know. Uh, for every design, you need to understand the negative and positive space. What is our negative space? So the negative space is where you are not designing or where you are not putting any element. And the positive space is where you put your element. So having a good balance between your negative space and positive space is very important. You need to be very particular about that. So in order for you to do this accurately, you need to set up your guides, right? Okay. So here, look at this. So here you come here, you show your ruler. It's going to show you your ruler. And if you have to have a guide, typically it gives you this guide to work with. So you have all these options. So 12 guides, a tray, 3 by 3, so that you can be able to work with that. So for instance, if I want to create a box, right, it's giving me this guide to be able to work with. So let's look at it again. So let's go over here. Let's work with just the 3 guides. Already I opened up my ruler and the guide. So here, if I want to pull something, right, it already has the guide in there. So when I'm pulling the ruler, it remembers the guide that I initially created, right? So here, look at this, right? So this is something that you need to know. So let me just go over here. So I'm trying to give a positive and negative space. So for instance, when you go out there to print, you can't place the image over here or the object over here, right? You can't just bring it here because the printer won't capture it, right? So that's one of the reasons why you need to have your positive and negative space. Even when you are not printing your work, you still need to have your positive and negative space because that's really what helps balance. And that is a good segue for me to talk about the principles of design, right? So at every point, you need to have balance within your work, right? You need to be able to have balance, right? So as we are seeing here, even as one of the things that you need to know, black is a very strong color, right? So to be able to to be able to work with something like this, and balance can be in any format, right? Balance can come in any format. So over here, in order for us to balance this, you realize this black, like I mentioned, black has a very, is very a strong color. So if I use this color or if I have this heading very bolden, right, I might choose to use a different color because black is very dominant, right? So instead of using this, that's why I chose the purple, right? So at least there's some balance in there, and I'll leave this one black, right? Then we just go on from there. Typically, your font for your body text, and the body text is what you want people to read. So, for instance, if you look at the newspaper, the body text is what you're going to read, and we have the title and we have the headings and all that, right? So, you need to focus on having a very good balance between those two, right? And having a good balance help you achieve hierarchy, right? When we say hierarchy in design, you're looking at what you want people to focus on and also what is supposed to draw people's attention. And with that, if there's a balance between the heading, the subheading, and the body, is able to help you achieve that. I'm going to go to this platform, Lorem Ipsum, right? And I'm going to copy this text. So whenever you are creating a text or a design, and I'm sure you've seen this somewhere. So lorem ipsum is what, it's just, you call it dummy text, right? So I'm going to use it to show you something. And look at this. With Canva, you can size up your work like this, right? So I'm going to go over this borderline here so that at least I'm using my text on this line. So let me go. I'm going to align my text here. And I think that's something you need to know. Alignment is very important in your design. You need to be able to focus, have a good alignment.
Sorry to interrupt, but whatever you are doing, I cannot see it. You are still showing the principle of design on your screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so, hmm, that makes sense. You just, I think you just made me realize I had solved the issues I was concerned about. So by turning off the sound, my concern was a repetition between the sound. So that's good. At least that's good that you've pointed it out. Oh, sorry. Okay. So I talked about Lorem Ipsum early on, and I talked about the header over here. So here you realize I'm creating hierarchy between the text. So if you have the main heading, so let's think about you creating a newspaper blog or something, right? You have the body text, you have the subheading, and you have the main heading. Then you go on from there. So let's do something like uh, let's say something like uh, uh, summer 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 camp notice, right? So I'm going to reduce this a little, and that's because I want to stay within the guidelines that I've created for myself. So here, if I want to reduce the font size, right, and I'm going to align it over here. So look at, this is where you find the alignment, right? So here, And there are several types of alignments that you can do. And there's also several line spacing. So if you come to this point, I can reduce the line spacing or the letter spacing, right? And I can also reduce the line spacing, right? Okay. So I've reduced the line spacing. I'm going to reduce my font size. I want to stay within this and I want it to be just one line, right? Okay. Summer camp notice. Stay safe. It's more like a call out, right? So stay safe, stay safe, stay safe. I'm going to reduce the subheading just a little bit, align it over here. Right? So this is more like a notice that I'm giving. This is still my body text, right? So, and I'm going to cut something out of this. So what you can see, what you're seeing here is a lot of spacing around so that visually there's no clutter, right? So this is like a notice that I'm giving to someone. With Canva, when you are creating an item, there are ways that you can add another page. So for instance, if I want to duplicate this and modify it, I just click on this. Typically, I duplicate things a lot. So for instance, if I'm creating a poster and I'm coming up with different variations, I will just work within the same file and come up with different variations of it. So let's come up with a different variations of this. We're going to change the color to, let's say, this, and we'll change this to that. Always create variations. I think no matter how, you know, since we still have the same design file, but at least changing the colors and we can change the font, right? Let's explore some of the fonts in here, right? So over here, you can explore the fonts a little. I actually like this better than the first one. I like this font better than the first one. And I can go all the way just down, right? So at least I have my notice here. If one of the important things that you should know when communicating, so for instance, this is a notice, right? One of the important things you need to know about design is you always want to there's a concept called recognition rather than, I think I've forgotten the name of it. Let me just pull it. I want to keep this. Yes. Recognition rather than recall. Yes. Recognition rather than recall. So recognition rather than recall is like like a heuristic method of design. So so summer camp notice, right? We are talking about a notice. Instead of just doing a text and telling people this is a notice, what if we can add an image, right? What if we can add an image? And that's where we want people to recognize what we are trying to talk about. So if the person is like 10 feet away, they can just recognize that, oh, we are giving them a notice, right? So let's go over here. I'm going to reduce the font, right? I'm still trying to communicate the same thing, but I want things to be easy for people to recognize, right? And I'll probably even reduce all this just a little bit, right? So that I'm making space for this thing. And again, by helping people with an image or an icon, my goal is to make people understand it easily. So notice, let me search over here. Look at this. So Canva has a lot of files in here, right? Instead of you designing things, before this, most of us, you have to design everything from scratch. But that's not what Canva is about. Canva is about making things very easy. And that's why at least everybody needs to know how to create a good design around it. For me as a designer, and I think a lot of designers don't like the idea that people are just doing Canva here and there. Like everybody's learning Canva and they don't really understand design. You see bad design all over the place. My goal here is to really help people understand good design, right? So here we are giving a notice. So I'm giving an icon. So right away, when you see this image, you know, just about 10 feet away, you still see that, okay, we are trying to warn somebody about something, right? So you've gone for a summer camp, whatever, you've seen this notice, you know that, okay, we are trying to warn you. You get it. This is just a simple illustration of some of the things. So we've gone over typography, so you can see the type over here. You've gone over a bit of the colors, right? So here you can see color variations, and there are a lot of the colors here. And there's a gradient color, right? When we say gradient here, we mean two colors combined to one, right? So here you can edit the gradient color, and it shows when you hover over this, you are able to edit the gradient color, right? So here it has different variations. You can turn this, can turn it that way, then differences over here, right? So this is where you edit the gradient. So, and you can edit the main color of the gradient. Look at this. And look at that. So we're going to come up with a gradient here. So look at that, right? So that's where you find the colors. How do you select good colors? Uh, there are different kind of color, color theories that you need to learn. I can't teach you every color theory here, but one thing that I would say is if you want to communicate love, emotions, excitement, even danger, you go with something warm, something reddish, right? You want to communicate based on the feeling, right? So if we are talking about, okay, an exciting event, let's say, I mean, Val's Day has its own colors, but if you want to communicate excitement, if you want to communicate something, good, right? You want to use warm colors. Warm colors range from the red, yellows, orange, and all the warm colors, like the colors that really feel like, okay, this is hot. Colors communicate emotions, right? And colors also has cultural meanings. You get it. So if you are designing a poster, a funeral poster, for instance, you use something uh, black, right? You can use a bit of red in there, but you can use black. A common color that we use to also represent royalty is gold, right? We saw gold here a few moments ago. And gold, you can create gold with a combination of black and yellow, right? So you need to understand this thing. So let me see. So this has a bit of gold in there, right? So let me go over here again. So we're going to probably select this and make it full. So here they have what we call the color picker. So if I want a color and I want to pick it from, let's say, the screen, I can just go here and pick it. So color picker is over here. And also with colors, every color has its own hex code, right? The hex code is like the code that you need. I have this tool that I typically use to pick my color. It's called Color Picker. So if you see a color that you like that you want to pick from your screen, you can just go on, download this plugin or this web extension and use it. So that's all with colors. And let's head on. And I think over here to look at this. So you have audio distance. So now we've worked with white space, we've worked with negative space, we've worked with colors. I've shown you a bit about typography. Yeah, we can just create something here. So I'm going to look at something again. Let's create something simple. We're going to create an Instagram post. I don't know. I wish people were around so that we can come up with suggestions. I don't know if Kwame, you have any idea? Do you have a suggestion on what we should create?
Well, I've not thought of any at the moment.
Oh, come again?
I've not thought of any at the moment.
Okay, okay, okay. So you can see these icons over here, right? You can see these icons over here. Typically, you want to check if this thing is a pro or a free version. Whenever you see this icon, it means it's pro. Don't waste your time using it for your design if you don't have a pro account, right? Otherwise, you use it and you can't export it. Don't make that mistake. So unless you have a pro account, don't necessarily go around using it. So I think that's a good rule of thumb there. So we're gonna go with, and I'm gonna go over my list of things that I wanted us to talk about. So let me see, just a moment. And I think, why is this? Okay, so I the list. Just give me a second, and let me see. Okay, all right. So I want to show. We're gonna go over the. I think I'm gonna just copy this text over here, making sure that we are sticking to the plan. So the plan is to go over as many of the features as possible, and I'm gonna share this over here. Wow. Oh my, this thing it didn't work well. Huh. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, so I'm just making sure that we are going over all the key points here. I'm trying not to miss everything. So let me see. Just a second. Okay. Okay, so I hope we have the YouTube open. Oh my, I think I closed this. Okay, yeah, this is over here. So let me see, just a second. I hope I've opened the video. Okay, so let me just go back to the OBS. Okay, I'm not sure why I still, I'm not sure if it has delayed or something. Huh. Okay, this is it. This is it. Sorry. All right. So I'm gonna go over the some of the points that I wanted us to just go over. I think I showed it early on when I wanted to record, but look at that. I seem to have used a different account. So we've looked at the home page. We've how to create a new design. And I think I'm going to show you different ways of creating a new design. We've looked at the simple way of creating a design, and I'm going to go over the other one. So let me see. Okay. So we just did this moment ago. No, please. Okay. So it looks like it didn't save my initial file. Typically, this is supposed to be a cloud platform, so it should be able to save your file for you. So here we've looked at how to create the design, and I think we can just start again with the next style of creating a design. There are several templates that you can create a design with. So you see, what we did over here was we creating something from scratch. The next part of creating a design, you can just copy somebody's design. Uh, I typically don't encourage that, but that is a value proposition that uh, Canva is proposing because it is another business engine. People can create Canva files for to get paid, right? So over here, you can see people have just created files, and now they are also using AI to create files over here. So one of the reasons why you want to use other people's work is you can learn all the designs that are out there, right? All the interesting designs. And also it helps you explore some of the designs, like some elements like a font, right? So I typically won't use this font, but by seeing other people's design, and if you go to design school, one of the things that they will teach you is, like still like a thief, right? This still like a thief, still like an artist. Basically, you want to copy people as easy as possible. Don't reinvent the wheel. Most of the designs you create, somebody has already created it. So go out there, look for inspiration, modify that inspiration, and you can head on with it, right? So what we just created, this summer camp poster or whatever, let's see something. We're going to create a different one with this style. So look at this. We're going to go over here. So summer notice, right? So we're going to work with somebody's design here, and I'll paste a match style. Look at that. Paste and match style will help you paste and it will still pick up the style. If you don't match the style, it will bring this back here, right? Okay. So come on, summer notice, and let me see. Maybe I'll just use this, right? Stay safe, stay safe, stay safe. So I'm gonna reduce the size to about 60, and maybe I'll change the font over here for it to be legible. Since we are communicating a notice, you want to make you need to make it legible, right? So we're gonna go over here. Let me pick this font, and I think it matches the style, right? So come into the site, and we're gonna go with something around here. So we do text, body text, and you see something interesting. Because we are designing on this template, it has picked the colors on this template, right? So always be aware of that, right? So we're going to go with, I'm going to reduce the size of this and just paste this in here and reduce the size. So you see the same thing that we've created, we've just modified it with a different design. Maybe we're going to remove this. Let me see if it's interesting to keep this. And like I mentioned early on, we're going to add a sign. So something like notice. So you see, when I searched in the text, nothing came. So we're going to go to element. And in element, we already had this there. So I'm going to pick up this color. Then I'm going to come up with notice. Right? Now, let me see if it makes sense as a design. Let me reduce this so that I can expand this just a little bit. So one of the things that I'm creating, I'm just trying to create something that has balance, right? And over here, you see, by reducing the size here, I I don't bring focus to this. It doesn't seem important. So I'm going to increase the boldness, right? I'm going to make it bold and just put it over here and maybe reduce it just a little bit. Okay. All right. So like I mentioned before, you want people to recognize what you are talking about. This is not a perfect design, but I'm trying to show you that you can use other people's design. You can modify the design and make it yours, right? So I've used it to communicate what I'm trying to communicate. You get it? So this can be here, this can be there, whatever, but at least there should be some balance between the distance, the spacing over here. And I talked about the negative and positive space. So with your negative space and positive space, does it even make sense to have, you know, all this white space or this white space here? So that's why I might move this in the middle, right? And also, I'm going to do a duplicate, right? So let's look at something like this. We're going to go with this, right? We can try this style. I'll reduce the font. And maybe I might even remove the subheading and bring it here, right? So you see, along the way, we've picked a design and we just keep modifying it. And over here, you see how if I've centered this one, I'm going to center this one too. So you come here and I'll just change the distance. I'll change the alignment, right? So look at that. So maybe I would also change the alignment for this one too, right? Yeah. So, yeah. So you see, we've modified this along the way and we've gotten this, right? So what if just a summer camp, maybe we are in a tree somewhere. So let's think about elements like a tree where you have your kids. So for instance, most of the summer camps, they go on like hiking trips and all that. So we can have like a tree somewhere here. Then you see you're adding flesh to this whole notice. So this is a good time for me to show you something. In Canva and in most design tools, we have like layers. This is a layer, that is a layer, that is a layer. So if I want to move this above this, you press, you right click it, then you show the layers, right? And I think we have this here. I need to remove it. So I can see the layers, or I can just go ahead and just move it up. But I want to show you the layers. So every element in the Canva file or in the design file has layers. The only tool, or one of the few, or one tool that I know doesn't have a layer palette is like Microsoft Paint. But layers is one of the most commonest, tools out there, right? So here you can see this. I'm going to bring up the summer camp, or I'm going to bring up the notice here. So I'm going to pull up the notice above the text. So you see, before this, it was behind it. Now we have it above, right? So I'm going to create this, and I'm bringing this above it. So something like this. Then you just keep modifying. Then you just keep modifying, right? Or it can be this way. Then it just goes on from there, right? So that's what you're looking at. Uh, you see, the thing about colors, right? And the thing about Canva that I've realized is you can't do too much with this. You can't do too much on Canva. I work in Photoshop. I work in Illustrator. Those are like heavy tools that you need to be an expert. And let me show you something that I did in Photoshop. I think that was Illustrator. So I recently made a design in Illustrator, and I think it's over here. So this is a project I'm currently working on. Uh, I think for something like this, you can do it in uh, oh, why is my so full screen? Let me just do full screen. I think fit on screen. All right, something is wrong with my screen. Okay, yes, this is perfect. Okay, and we're going to mimic something that I just did in here in Illustrator. It might not be perfect, right? It might not be perfect, but I think we can still try creating something. I think this will be a good example to show. So, we recently did this worship night. Let me see. Right. So this worship night that we recently did, and you can see. So what is currently showing on the screen is what is currently showing on the screen on YouTube is the a project. It's called, I think it's called IABA or something. But what you're seeing currently also is the Charlotte, the Church of Pentecost, North Carolina poster, right? This was done in Illustrator, and everything was done from scratch. The color meshing, all of those things. It is hard to do something like this in Canva, but it's also, if you have time and you have the experience, you can do something like this. We are going to steal this design, right? We're going to steal this design. So this is like a variation of the design that I just did. and I'm showing these are all the variations. You're going to try and create something like this in Canva. So let me see. So we have this, and I think let me export this one. So I'm going to export this for screens. We're going to do the Instagram one. So social today at 11:08. Okay. So we're going to go to, we're going to create a different file. So if you weren't here, I tried to create this file, and I want to use this to also show you uh, like something in Canva. It's more like a project management thing. Whenever you create a file, you need to make sure you are naming it, right? Otherwise, you might just lose it. So let's say summer camp. I'm going to give it summer camp. Then I've given it a name, right? Then I'm going to move it to, when you click on file, you can move it to a folder, right? It helps you stay super organized, right? It helps you stay super organized with your file. So I'm moving this one to Canva training. So I've moved it over here. And look at it. Whenever you come to this side, the most frequently used folder that you have will show up over here. Look at it. So now, whenever I come here, I can see the tab. We'll probably go through all these things, but at least we've seen this. Whenever you create a folder, or whenever you move a folder here, you see I had an existing folder. If I want to create a new folder, I can just do this. Let's say tutorial. Then yes. So I've created a different folder and you can find it, right? So let's create a new design. We're going to create a new Instagram design, but I'll go back to the home here. So early on, we went over all these, right? So I'm going to create an Instagram post. So it will give you a blank space here. You can use this also to search for files. This is one of the place that you can search for a different file. So let's say search poster. So it will bring up all the ones that I've done before, right? And the ones that other people have also done. So look at that. Then if I want to select something to work with, I'll just go ahead and select. But we are not doing that. I'm going to click on design and it will pull up Instagram post. So remember I told you whenever you want to import an image, it picks up your color for you. I'm going to show you how to import a file. So if you click here, there's the import button over here, right? So you click on import. We are going to import the file that I just stored. So I'm going to go to this folder. So we'll go to documents, PIWC, and this is for today. Look at that. Okay, so now whatever you want to import, you can import any image on this using this import, right? The good thing is whenever you import an image and you put it in Canva, Canva automatically picks the color. So for instance, let's look at this, right? Okay. Let's create a different page because we're just gonna work from this one. But look at that. I want us to see all the colors in this one. Canva has picked up all the colors. It says photo colors. So it has picked up all the colors in here. So we can, whenever we want to recreate something, we can do that with this. So I'm going to try recreating this in here. Right. Okay. And that's the same thing that I've been trying to communicate. You can just pick somebody's work and work on it, right? You can pick a template and work. I don't encourage it directly. Like you don't have to blatantly just copy somebody's work, but take it as an inspiration, right? So we're still going to use this, but then we can let it inspire us to come up with a different design, right? So let's look at this. It has all these backgrounds. I'll probably know, I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to try. So we go to first, we go to elements, and I'm going to start with this shape, right? So we already have our grade over here. We already have the rulers over here. So if you want to turn on the ruler, you come to settings, right? Then you say show guide, right? Okay. So now I'm going to pull up, I'm leaving about 10 inches or 10 pixels. That's 100 pixels. No, sorry. So we're going to go to 1050. We're going to go to this side. So I'm leaving my guide over here. Why is this? You know what? Let me just use this traditional method that I use. So for instance, if I want to make sure that the left is the same as the right, so this is, you see the width is showing the width. So here, the width is 100. I'm going to go with another 100 over here, right? So I copy this, I copy and paste. So I'm pulling this here. So now I get the same 100 to 100 over here, right? So you get where we're going. All right. So we've left our height space. So we are going to leave. I shouldn't have even deleted it. Let me just go over here too. I want us to stay within this 100, and I'm going to pull up the top. Right. So I'm going to try for us to work within this space. Right. Okay. So let's see if we can create this color. It's not going to be easy, guys. So, but we'll start with what? We're going to start with gradients. We're going to start with gradient because whatever you see here, it's all a mesh of gradients, right? So let's see this. And I'll show you another way to go about this whole thing. So I'm going to pick gradients, right? So this is similar to what we have. And I'm going to modify the colors a little. So you look at this. So now we have this one. I'm going to modify it just a little bit. So I can edit the gradient over here. Okay. So I'm going to pick the colors. I'll click here and come here and pick your color. Then I'll come here and pick the color. So you see we are getting somewhere. Okay. See, the goal here is for us to get something similar, not exactly the same. So don't stress out when we are or when you're not getting the same as what you're trying to do, right? So let's look at this. I'm going to pick something like this. So I'm going to add a different shape. Let me see. I think I'll add, let me pick, I'll pick a circle here. I'll pick a circle. Then I'll go and pick another gradient, right? So let me pick this gradient. Then I'll go and modify the colors. So let's modify the gradient color a little. So we'll come here, right? Click on this. Then I'll go to edit this color. So let me pick this. Then I'll come here and say, I'll pick that, right? Okay. So there's a good time to show you something. In Canva, there's a way to add, like effects. And let me see if they have effect for shapes. I'm gonna go over this. I don't know if I'm seeing the effect for the shape. Look at this. So when you go to edit image, you see the effect over here. It looks like they don't have that for this. So let's go to this side. I want to blur this shape. So that's what I'm trying to look for. So we'll come here and see. Okay. It looks like we might not get it. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to increase or reduce the transparency of this shape, right? We're going to reduce it just a little bit, right? And maybe we can come here and change this color a little. So I'm gonna, and I'm gonna reduce the transparency, right? And I'll copy, Control C, Control V, and I'm gonna just try that. Again, the goal here is to have something very similar, right? Not because it's going to be hard to achieve all the stuff that we are seeing here. And I'm going to go to something. I'll look at the layers, right? So left right click, I'll see the layers. Let me see, arrange. And I probably didn't mention this. So whatever you see here, you see there was alignment and all that over here. You can still see it in the layers panel, right? So arranging. So you can align things, you can center things here and all that. So let's go over that. I'm gonna just try and see if I can get, like a very deep blue. Look at this side over here. And we're gonna increase the transparency because we're trying to get a blue color. So I'll pick this and edit it. So this blue is going to be like this. So we come here and pick it. I'm going to see if I can take it down. Uh, okay. So because it's interfering with the whole design, the red here, maybe I will just go and reduce the opacity of this red, right? So whatever you're seeing here, this is the color. So I'm going to reduce the opacity of this red, right? So here, this is where you can reduce opacity. Look at that. Okay. Let's say we are done with the background, right? We are done with the background, the main background. We are going to look for, you see this dots is going to be hard to recreate it. So I'm going to look for, dots online and import it, PNG. So I search for transparent dots PNG. Look at that. And typically you can get some of these things for free, right? So you come here, hopefully, okay. I like this. I like how it's moving. I like the way it's flowing. So I'm gonna download this one. I might not get it. Look at this. It's asking me to sign up. I think I signed up to this platform. I have a dummy account for all these things because otherwise you always be signing up. So I have this dummy account. So yep, I think I've already signed up, or maybe not. Okay, so just dots, transparent. Okay, so I'm just going to use this dummy account and use it to download. Okay, so I said I like this style, right? So I'm going to download the PNG. I probably didn't mention. So the PNG is is a design file, right? So you see a JPEG. JPEG is like a raster image. When we say raster image, it is made up of pixels. When you stretch it, it loses its quality. And PNG is also the same. PNG is the same, but then it's able to retain transparency. So, for instance, if you are creating something and you want to have transparency, if you want to have the background not being seen or something, you have to save it in PNG, right? So, let me see. So it's going to download in PNG. So I'm downloading a PNG version of this. So you see how this dot over here, you see the gray background. That gray background is transparent, right? So I'm going to go to downloads and we have that here. So let me take this. So I showed you how to upload something in Figma, right? In Canva. So there's also a way to upload by just dragging, right? You can just drag the objects in here. Okay. All right. So I think this is too big. Let me just go over here. So I'm going to resize it. So why am I adding, or why did I add this to the background? It makes the background a little more interesting. Sometimes you don't have to be scientific about everything, and that's why this is a creative field. Like some things make things look good, right? So adding this, you can just reduce the transparency and makes the background looks, just a little more interesting, right? I might go on to use the original image for the background. Let me see. So I probably forgotten how I downloaded it or where I downloaded it from. Yeah, I've probably missed it. But this is what we are creating is for a music group. So let's just go to a choir singing. Let's do modern choir, right? Black and white. What we had is black and white. Okay, black and white, black. Okay, so I'm using black and white because it won't. Yeah, I think it's nicer. You can change a colored image into black and white in Canva, and I'll show you later on. But let me just go with a black and white, and and I'm gonna save this. So open. Oh, so you see, when you are downloading an image, you have to check 360 by 450. That's a very small file. So you see, when I tried it, it's a small file over here. So always check. My rule of thumb is anything below 400, 400 by 400 is usually too small for me to work with. But sometimes you just can't get the image, right? And some of the images too, uh, yeah, you need a license. So yeah, you just have to. So here you see this 2000, right? You check it over here, and you're just getting something good. So we're going to go to this, and I'm going to drag the image in here. Okay. It's going to be also very super transparent. And this will probably go behind the dots. So let's open this and let's go to the layers. So look at that. So we're going to go, we'll reduce the transparency. Uh, yeah, I'm not sure we got the distance, but this is the best we can get. I wish I still had that image, but we have transparency at 5%. This is how backgrounds are created, right? So let me see. Okay. All right. So now we have our background, right? Okay. So we're gonna go with the logo title over here. So we're gonna go with we're gonna get the text. We're going to go with heading, right? So praise and worship. Was it end? Yeah. So I think I did end, right? I would want to be more able to move the text around, and also I want to separate it. So if you are using a Mac, you can press Alt, then you move the item. Or you can just copy and paste, right? Copy and paste. I just did copy and paste. So let's do the white. We're going to change the text to white, right? Okay. Then Okay, so worship night. So for this one, I'm gonna just go look at the fonts that they use. Typically, you can just screenshot the text and go and search for the font. But this one, I'll probably just skip that and go back to look for the font that I used. Uh, okay, so let me see. Okay, I probably have the original design somewhere. So this is where I created the logo. So always you want to save the raw files, right? So I created this original file from here. So the text here, let me see, properties. The name of the text is Kano, right? Okay. But if I didn't want to search for it, you can just screenshot it and put it in Google Image, right? If you put it in Google Image or uh, Font Finder, it will show you the font, right? Okay. So let me see. So Canon. So Canva is connected to Google Fonts. So it sometimes have a lot of font, but it looks like we don't have the font here. We don't have the font here. So let's just go look for something. We're going to look for a different font. Okay. This is too old. Yeah. Or I will have also something you want to note. We have different kinds of fonts. We have the serif and we have the sans serif. The serif is the ones that have the tip, right? So this is a serif font. You see the tip here and all these tip, that is a serif. This is a sans serif font. Let me show you a sans serif font. So we can say this is a sans serif font, right? Because it doesn't have the tip. See, it's been a while since I learned all these, so I've forgotten the specific name for it. But then it's the serif, right? That is the serif. So mostly when you're designing something for social media, when you're designing something modern, and even currently, some of the nicer ways of like designing things, you always want to go with sans serif, right? And yeah, that's a modern style. So let's just keep looking for the font, a good font to choose. So we are looking for something sans serif that is also stylized. So let's go to here. So you can see over here, it shows you the names of the group of fonts. So in Canva, they have groups of fonts here. So we have handwriting, fonts that feels like handwriting. So already corporate. You see all the corporate fonts, they are sans serif, right? Display, right? Those are big, big fonts. So we go to the next one. Headings, paragraph, sans serif, serif, and they have their own way of doing that. Let's look for something vintage. Okay, so I didn't see any good one there. So I'm going to look for, okay, maybe we'll go for something modern. So you see modern, retro, slab. Uh, they have all these groups, but let me just pick something that we can go with. But I know I would really pick this one for this. So I'm gonna reduce it because you see how this one is. Okay. And luxury. So if I search for luxury fonts, it will just pick something for me. So that's another style or another group of fonts. it's not part of the main font, but you see, when it's like a conventional name that has been picked, right? So we want the design to feel like a luxury font or a luxury design. So here, what we are seeing, uh, okay, hmm, yeah, I think I'm not getting anything interesting, very similar to what we had. Okay, let me just go back. I'm gonna go to, uh, and the thing is, it takes time to come up with these designs. So that's why you need to explore a little more. And that's why you need to come up with variation. Even what we have, you still have to come up with a variation of it. And sometimes, and I think sometimes, even when you are not creating a variation of everything, even the fonts and the designs and all that, you can still have variations. I'm going to just go with something just a little bit elegant. Yeah, nothing really. And most of it are also, uh, oh my, you know what? Let me just see. Because this is font and typography is probably, and of course, every part of the design is important, but your typography is super important. I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with this. Okay, so let me just pick this. So look at this. So I'm going to separate this, right? I will, so agranda is what we have this for that. So see, so okay, so the name of this one is okay. I'm just gonna go with this style, copy this, put that here. So you see why sometimes copying someone might be dangerous and also difficult. I'm trying to make sure that I match this. Even with that, I probably didn't get it right. Let me just change the font again. I just need to get it as close as possible to something similar. Uh, Not getting something interesting here. Uh, yeah, this is dragon. But let's quickly move. I like this. I think I like this. I think uh, not the most interesting one, but I wouldn't have picked it as my first option. But at least it's stylized and we can use it. So praise and worship night. That yep. So we have this. We have that. We're gonna go with expanding this just a little bit, right? Okay. So so you see, I'm trying to stay within the white space, right? I'm trying to stay within the positive space. I have my negative space over here. right? So now you can see we have this icon, the music notes. I'm going to search for music notes over here. Music notes. Sorry, we couldn't find the results in shape. I think something is wrong. They can't tell me they can't find anything. So music notes. Yeah, look at that. So I had to go back. So I'm gonna pick this, right? So because I can't modify too much, yeah, this one can be done. But so I'm gonna just go with this style, and it goes on from there. Okay. So I don't know. I don't know if I like the fonts that I picked. So this how your the design is gonna be, right? I'm teaching you Canva, but basically I'm also showing you how to design good design. You don't just achieve it by trying just one thing. You know, you have to come up with a variation of it, or just you look at something you might not like it, you go around and change it. I don't like the fonts, but maybe I don't have time. Uh, let's see. I don't know if this is interesting enough. Oh my God. And a bit of being too perfect can also kill. Yeah, being trying to be perfect can kill. It can delay your work. You sometimes have to move very fast. I needed to move fast. I probably delayed too much before showing you a few things. I wanted to show the last thing that I had that I needed to show is creating a video. And I'll show you just a moment from now. Uh, we didn't start early, and I think that's also part of it. So I think I can work with this, right? I can work with this. Let's go with the dates. And because of time, I'm not going to type everything. I'm just going to copy it from here. So, welcome. So, worship night. Worship night. Okay, so there's the worship night. I'm going to go with the text here. So, unleash to worship. And this is still can be a header. Okay, let me use a subheading. I'm going to paste it in here. Huh. Oh, I think the thing didn't copy. The text didn't copy. Let me just see. Oh my. Okay, so let me see if it copied. Yeah, I think it copied. I don't know why it's not working. Let me just go back here. Yeah. So and a quick pro tip. Whenever you copy something somewhere and it still has the formatting from that software, just open your browser and paste it over there. It's this space here is like a rich, we call it rich text. It's like it will clean every formatting that you are picking so that you can copy it well. So just a simple tip from there. So let's go reduce the font size. And so Canva has their own Canva, this thing. They have their own Canva fonts, which whatever you're trying to do, they will just give you Canva fonts. So you have to watch out for that. So I'm gonna just go back and copy the rest. So Jeremiah or John, yeah, John. You see, it still doesn't want to copy. So I'll go back, paste the font over here, come back, and just get it done. Right? Okay. So we've got it. Uh, so another rule of thumb, you want to stick with as little number of font as possible, right? So you look at this. We have one, two, three, right? No. We have just one, two. We have two. Currently have two. I'll go to three so that we are not just being too similar, right? So I'm gonna go with this font. Okay, so Helvetica Poppins is very popular. Open source. I think I like, you know what? Let's stick with the this font. So the Agrandile is the same one that's over here. So I'm gonna go change the font size, reduce it from bolden. Okay, I think I might just have to do this one rather. So team, yes. So that's the one that has to be bolden. So then we go back to the address again, all the details in here, and we are going to stick with the same font. So let me see. So we have August. Look at that. So that's the stand with some of these. Uh, you know what? Let me just go with this. I'm gonna go with this. All right. So I'm copying this font. Still the same thing. When you copy it, it doesn't work. So I'm posting it here. So Saturday. Uh, so I'm gonna divide it into three. So I'll copy and paste. Copy and paste. So the date is gonna be separate. The time is gonna be separate. So I'm separating the date, the time. It's going to be a separate layer, and the address is going to be separate layer. Okay, so Central Freedom Drive. So we're going to go with, okay, okay. All right. Huh. Okay. All right. So we're gonna create this. Okay. Yep. So let's. I'll probably remove the dates just to be similar to what we have here. So I'm gonna remove the date. I'm gonna remove the time. Because of course, we want to stay as similar as possible. So uh, I'm gonna do capitalize here. When you want to use uppercase, is what you do. Saturday. Okay, so PM EST. So very similar here. Or maybe, let me see. So we're gonna increase or just remove the bolden for EST. Uh, Capitalize this, then capitalize that. Should we? Maybe just the top one. So I'm gonna reduce the distance, and we'll just go up from there. So let's capitalize that. You know what? Maybe we should just duplicate this. And I think I probably have to just type this in. So 7 to 10 p.m. so that we get consistency. PM EST. We are still trying to stay within the bounds uh, of this one. So So let's look at it again. So we've been able to create the base. We didn't want it to be similar, but I think we've gotten a bit similar. We can do variations of it from here. So let me just go add shape, all the graphics over here, and let me see. So we'll do white. We'll do white stroke. Let's see. So our white is going to be the border color. Uh, you know what? Might just have to decrease it just a little. Again, we are trying to stay within the bounds of the distance. So here, okay, let's see. We need more space. Okay, so we'll remove the boldness. Uh, so maybe so you realize I couldn't really expand this or reduce it. I guess it has its own limitation. Let me just see. So you can squeeze it to a certain point, right? So yeah, I think this is what we will get. Uh, I'm going to see if I can just copy this directly from. So that's another thing. I remember having an upload of the logo here. Let me see. So I used to have a logo. Yeah, we're probably going to finish. We're going to finish soon. Let's group this. I didn't even mention about grouping. So you can group you can group the elements for them to become one. When look at this, if you go to the layer, it's supposed to show you the groupings. Yeah, right. So it shows them as grouped. Right. Let me just reduce the line spacing just a little bit and increase the font size here a little. So this is 1.4. So let's see. Okay. All right. So maybe we've seen how this whole thing works, right? Uh, let me just add a present. I'll, I'm probably gonna skip. Uh, I'm probably gonna skip the set of Pentecost there. Okay. Present. Let me just do Christian family. I'm just picking the name, and I'm gonna use something like a cross. So here I'm gonna bolden it and maybe increase the font. I'm gonna just get a cross. So I'm probably gonna do a continuation of this where I'll show you the animation, but I want us to end here because we are over the time. I have to attend to something, but this is oh, Christian family. Okay. Yeah, I'm just adding a div. Right. That is it. That is a good start. I think that is definitely a good start. So we've recreated this, we've modified it, we've done it in Canva. That was our goal. Our goal was to really create something. And whatever you saw me do here is the same that you go through to come up with other designs. But basically, uh, Canva is very easy to work with, and I will do a follow up to this where I show you video creation and all that. Let me see. I think I'm not sure if I like this, but I don't know. I don't know. Let me see. Let me see this. I think this text is not working. You know what? So this is why I break the rule. So we're gonna go over here, and this is gonna go over to the top, and this is also gonna go over here. All right. Look at that. We've modified this to get this. That's what you need to think about. How can you pick a design and just modify it to be yours, right? Uh, I want to see if we covered at least most of this thing, uh, the things I wanted us to do. Let me see. Okay, so we have our Google Doc here. Yep, we've placed the elements, we've looked at the photo, rounded corners, positioning on Canva, lock. Okay, let me see. So this is where you can lock a file or you can lock an element. So let's see, to lock an element. Here is to lock an element. If you don't want something to move, I should have thought about this. I would have logged the background. The background is very important. This is what I'm probably going to do. So there's a rule of thumb. Let's go to layers and let's see if there's a lock over there. Yeah, I think there's a lock here. So lock. Okay, look at that. Lock. Yep. So we've locked it. Now nothing will move. I can move this freely, right? So you see, we've looked at lock. Let me go over the next 10 uh, element in Canva. We've looked at it. We've looked at grouping. We look at this thing, framing. So shapes, we've looked at it. So let me show you frames. I want to show you frames. So look at it. This is a frame. If I want to put a picture here, I can use frame, right? So frame helps you place pictures in there, right? So let's look at something. So if I come here, I can just put frame in here. So I'll put it in there. So that's where you use frames. Frames can also help you modify your fonts. There are some uh, font frames. Look at this. So for instance, if I have a shape and I want to modify it, I have a text that I want to add a design to it. Look at that. I'll just use frames, right? So like you can have a text where you want to modify it and you use a frame to do that. And you can delete the image down there. And let's look at this. I think we've covered all of that. So text, how to upload, tidy up, how to add links. Not necessary for the class, but I want us to be able to download our work, right? Okay. So we're going to download everything down here is going to be for video. Let's download our work. I'll find another time for us to do video, but let's download our work. I mentioned earlier, you have different ways of downloading or sharing your images. So you can link your Instagram, you can present your work, you can schedule for it to post on Instagram or Facebook, whatever. And that's the thing. Like it's a very collaborative tool. They have a planner where you can schedule. It goes to Facebook directly. Over here, if I want to download, I can pick any option that I want. PDF, JPEG, PNG. Then say I select JPEG. If I have a pro version, I can increase the size, and we can go over there and look at this. If I want to save both of the files, I will just with both. But then if I want to just save one, I work with this one. I'll just click current file and download it. See, it downloads for me and I use it for whatever I'm trying to do. So there it is. You've gotten it. Now you have your Canva file. that's the goal. I'm glad that you you guys join. I'm hoping you can watch this after this meeting. The goal, that's why I put it on YouTube. Find time and watch it. Explore design, and I think it's probably one of the best tools that you can learn. If you're looking to go into social media management, you need a bit of it. If you are looking to go a bit of as a real estate agent, and I've worked with a lot of real estate agents, and I'll be designing a special course for real estate agents, and it goes on like that. I'm probably going to reduce this a little, so now that I've seen it after I downloaded it, and it's part of the test. Every time you're going to be modifying your design, right? There's a saying that goes, design is never done. Then I never think that you are done. You can still modify it. That's why you need to take feedback, right? So now that I've designed, I downloaded it and I viewed it, I see it differently. So I'm going to just download just that one. Yep. I think I like it. I think I like it. Yep. Christian Family Choir presents this, that. And we're good. All right, guys. It's been a wonderful time. I'm hoping that you can come back here and watch all the videos. I'll be sharing this with you. Uh, the design file that I copied, I will share the link with you so that you can modify it. But that is how we're going about it. Have a wonderful time and stay blessed.